And Cardi B, you think as soon as it's official, it's a fallout, that Cardi B is gonna follow J Cardi B is gonna follow JT back? Oh man. And say it's all good. It's all good. Sisters fight. Ah. Join me over on YouTube, y'all. On YouTube. I'm waiting for y'all to come up over there. Let's see. Well, see, I didn't see it, but I'm seeing a lot of Bobs sending it to me saying JT is the one who stopped answering. I mean, what's up, Gunna? I'm gonna go and make. I said I was gonna make a members only video about this yesterday, but I did not. But I'm going to, about what's really going on with that situation. And there's pretty much the same thing going on. Any news on any new Kendrick or Drake releases? There are no Kendrick and or Drake releases planned as of right now. Gonna do not listen to DJ Fatademics. He's trying to start trouble. He's another dude we didn't talk about. And any Drake fans or whoever think that this dude is a colleague, this or ally. This dude is a op. Drake, if you were smart, Kendrick, if you smart, you stay away from that nigga. You stay away from him. Now he just may drop on the same day as Kendrick, but his record ain't gonna be about Kendrick. Drake has made his decision. Yes, IE Network. Vanessa Brian, what's up? Check me out on I'm be live, Vanessa. The IE Network on YouTube. Join me over there. Um Drake, even if he does drop the same day as Kendrick, he just do that just to troll. Just to try to prove to him that he can outsell him. But he's not going to make a Kendrick diss record. Now, is there going to be a record with maybe one or two lines that you may think is that Kendrick? Yes, of course. But it's not going to be any more Kendrick diss records. Drake's already made up his mind that this dude, he thinks this dude's a clown. He thinks this dude is a cloud chaser and he does anything to say he won a battle, even if it means lying on a man, even if it means telling the world this man's a pedophile where there's no proof he's a pedophile. So he's done with Kendrick. Like he said in that record, I might be willing to start it back up because it was good exercise. I might be willing to start it back up if you're going to get to the facts. If you're not going to get to the facts, I'm not interested in going back and forth with a liar. And I think that's the right move for him to make. Fuck Kendrick. He want to go around and take this. Oh, I won the battle. Yeah. But I won the war. Break out your bank account statement. Break out your streams. Break out your charted hits. Let's go to Spotify right now and see who's the most streamed this month. Let's go to Apple right now and see who's the most streamed this month. Yeah, you may won that little battle because you found people just dumb enough to play into your narrative. But who gonna win the war though? Who gonna win the war though? When this book of hip hop is closed, right? And y'all can honestly sit there and say that to yourselves. There's gonna come one day where there's no more hip hop music, where people aren't making hip hop music anymore. Come on over to YouTube, y'all. The IE Network. When people are no longer making hip hop music, there's gonna come a time when they're gonna close the book of hip hop. The Cash App is Heaven Hollywood. You're getting some good exclusive shit here that you can't get nowhere else. Even my tapes on things, you're not gonna get these tapes nowhere. There's gonna come a time when the book of hip hop is officially closed, and the only thing that's gonna be left for hip hop are archives, old records, YouTube, whatever. They're gonna stop making hip hop music. The book is hip hop's gonna be closed, and then you're gonna start people coming out with their stories, right, on hip hop. When you tell the story of hip hop, right? When that day comes, when we tell the story of hip hop from beginning to its end, who you think gonna get mentioned first in that book? Kendrick Lamar or Drake? Let's just keep it a buck and 5 cents. When the book of hip hop is closed and there's no more hip hop, the only thing that's left are the fossils, the memories, the streams, the YouTube videos, the award shows on YouTube. It's going to be no more hip hop music except the archive. Who you think, when they're telling the story of hip hop, from Rapper's Delight until whatever time it ends, from King Tim III to Rapper's Delight to The Message to Rock Box to Sucker MC, right? To Eric B is President, to Walk This Way, to The Bridge, to The Bridge Is Over, South Bronx. Then they're going to move on to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Parents Just Don't Understand, in their little run. They're going to talk about Biz Markie and Big Daddy Kane. They're going to talk about Rakim and Big Daddy Kane, the battle that never was, that everybody wanted. And they're going to talk about the storytelling era with the great Slick Rick. And they're going to talk about the female rap burst onto the scene with Roxanne Shante and MC Lyte and Antoinette. And Antoinette and MC Lyte, the first female rap battle. And MC Lyte versus Roxanne Shante. And Roxanne Shante making Big Mama and taking out all the female rappers, coming at all the female rappers and calling Latifah a butch. For the first time ever, you heard that? Oh my God, did she call Latifah a butch? Shante, before Latifah even came out, Shante said she's a dyke. Roxanne Shante told the whole world that Queen Latifah was a dyke, or AKA she likes women, before Latifah even came out. She was pissed at Roxanne Shante about that because Latifah wanted to say, I want to come out when I decide to come out. Now I got to answer this girl calling me a lesbian. They're going to get into all that when the book of hip hop is finally written and closed. Then they're going to get into Biggie and Nas. Nas Illmatic, arguably the greatest rap album ever. And Third Base, the first, the second white hip hop group after the Beastie Boys. And MC Search, the man who put on Nas and introduced the world to Nas. Of course, they got to talk about the Beastie Boys and LL Cool J, the first platinum record, the first platinum rapper. And Eric B. and Rakim, the first $1 million contract in rap. That went to Rakim. First $1 million contract. Rock him. MC Lyte had the first female album to go gold. MC Lyte. They're going to talk about all this, and when the book of hip hop is closed, they're going to talk about this. This is what they're going to talk about. And they're going to talk about Biggie, and then we're going to get to the East Coast, West Coast. We're going to get to Biggie and Pac and how that unfolded. And then the death of Biggie, the death of Pac, rest in peace. The Source Awards, where Suge Knight said those famous words. You don't want your executive producer being all up in the videos, all up on the records, dancing, come to death row. Then got hit in the face. They're going to talk about all that. They're going to talk about how Method Man saved New York's ass in New York because the West Coast had taken over that show. When it was Death Row against Bad Boy, and Death Row showed up and showed out in New York. And Snoop Dogg said the famous words, y'all don't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg? Wait a minute. The East Coast ain't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg in Death Row? Y'all don't love us? They're going to talk about all that when the book of hip hop is closed. And when you get to Lil Wayne, you get to the New Orleans craze with Juvenile, Cash Money, the big label. Started getting to the Southern craze. Outkast, putting ATL on the map as far as rap went. And CeeLo Green and those boys. The Goody Mob. And the West Coast craze with Tone Loc. This is when pop rap started taking and stabbing itself. But before that, we had the all-black craze. We had black people, for once, waking up and saying, we're going to stick together. We're going to eat one, meet one, and teach one when it comes to rap. Thanks to KRS-One and Boogie Down Production. Thanks to Chuck D and Flavor Flav and Public Enemy. Thanks to Poor Righteous Teachers. Thanks to the X-Clan. We're taking off these gold chains because we've now been taught that they represent slavery and that we're still chained up. Take off those gold chains and let's replace them with African medallions. Remember that? Remember how black people were so unified during around this time? Let's see, what was this? About 91. Around 91. I was just a teenager coming into my own. And then the black medallions. We started turning the medallions into medallion rings. We was wrapping it around our fingers. Right? We was wrapping it around our fingers. We was rocking medallions. I took my dookie rope off, went and sold it, pawned my dookie rope. PE had me gassed. KRS-One had me gassed. I said, forget this dookie rope. We not enslaved no more. This represents chains. This is breaking the chains. And then the white people said, wait a minute. What are they doing over there? They're not fighting. What is this self-destruction they're talking about? This self-destruction record where all the rappers came together for one cause. In gun violence, in the violence on drugs. Oh, we can't have that. We can't have that. They're coming together. We can't have that. They're way much stronger than us when they're together. So we got to do something. We got to do something. Let's put something together. Let's call up Ron Heller. Let's talk. Let's talk over here. Let's get something together. Call up After. Where's Jimmy IV? Call up Aftermath. Call up Ruthless. I know what we're going to do. We're going to start gangster rap. Gangster rap. Before this positive rap gets too strong, we're going to start gangster rap. And we're going to put out a group called Niggas with Attitude. NWA. Oh, Ebenezer, that's a brilliant idea. You know those niggas love violence. You know those niggas love killing each other. That is a brilliant idea. Niggas with Attitudes. And we're going to promote it on MTV, music television, where most of the white people are watching videos. Niggas with Attitudes. And we're going to pit them against Public Enemy. Because Public Enemy was getting so strong, they even had white people out cheering them on. And they were talking about we people are devils. White people are devils. And white people were saying, you're right. You're right. You're right, Chuck D. They were getting too strong. Let's make gangster rap. So they're going to talk about that. They're going to talk about how gangster rap put everything back in control of white people. They were losing the grip on it finally. Put everything back in control of record labels. And they're going to talk about when people started doing their own thing with Master P, who was the first big successful one. And they're going to talk about how 50 Cent changed the mixtape game. And 50 Cent decided to take on the whole entire industry and say, fuck all y'all niggas. How to rob. I'm robbing RZA. I'm robbing Onyx. I'm robbing Big Pun. Because he can't chase me. He's 500 pounds. Right? And everybody said, who is this guy? Battling with Ja Rule. Him and Ja Rule had personal beef. They're going to talk about how 50 Cent changed the mixtape game and got signed by Eminem and took over, probably had the greatest 5-year run in rap history. Probably the greatest 5-year run of any rapper. They're going to talk about that. And when they get through the 90s, the death of Pop, death of Big, and they get through the early 2000s, they start talking about 50 Cent and Kanye West and Lil Wayne. And Lil Wayne branches off of Cash Money. And then we got Ludacris is doing his thing with his little crew. Of course, Big Nelly comes out from St. Louis. Now hip-hop is global. And then they're going to talk about Lil Wayne, who have arguably signed the king and queen of rap music. Arguably. He arguably has signed. Not only do we look at what Lil Wayne did for rap, for the hip hop, game of hip hop. We're not only going to look at the way Lil Wayne transformed hip hop. He gave hip hop a certain sound and a certain look that carried on for another generation after he was already out. That whole entire wave of Uzi, Yachty, Future, Young Boy, Lil this, Lil that, Lil Zane, Lil Drip, Little Drop, Lil Pump, Little Tony, Little Andrew, all of that. Young Dolph, young this, young that. This was all started by Lil Wayne. And underneath his wing is arguably the king and queen of rap music. You can agree with it, but you can't argue it. You can disagree with it, but there's no way you can argue it. Because there are plenty of people walking this earth that feel as though Drake and Nicki Minaj are the greatest female and male rapper to ever pick up a microphone. I'm not saying I feel that way. But there are people, you can't argue it. You can disagree with it, but you can't argue it. Because I can go and find people who feel the same way. So when you can find more than one person that feels the same way, you can't argue it. You can disagree with it. I disagree. In my opinion, so-and-so is the great. But you can't call it wrong, and you can't argue it. Sure, there's a lot of people that feel as though Lil' Kim is the queen of rap. Sure, there's a lot of people that feel as though Lauryn Hill is the queen of rap. Sure, there's a lot of people that feel as though Missy Misdemeanor Elliott is the queen of rap. There's a lot of people. Older heads might say it's MC Lyte. Some older heads may even say it's Roxanne Shante. And then you got some people that are going to be technical and they say, well, Queen Latifah's name is Queen Latifah. So I'm going to say she's the queen of rap. But there's also a lot of people that says Onika Tanya Mirage is the queen of rap. There is. You can disagree with it, but you can't argue it. And because he is considered the Michael Jackson of rap, because he is beating out records that even pop stars couldn't break. He's beating records that pop stars are chasing. Aubrey Drake Graham. is breaking records that pop stars couldn't break. Oh, but he's doing it in the streaming era. Anybody could do it. Anybody could do it. J. Cole's in the streaming era. He ain't done it. Kendrick Lamar's in the streaming era. He came out after Drake. He ain't done it. Lil Wayne, they're all operating in the streaming era now. Kanye West, Lil Wayne, Young Boy, who everybody says, oh, he's the YouTube king. Future. If it's so easy and anybody can do it, why ain't they done it? Right? Why haven't they done it? That's what people run to me. Oh, but Drake's doing this in the streaming era. Anybody could do that. Anybody could do it? Well, why haven't they done it? Why haven't they done it? If anybody can do it. If Drake ain't a special cat, there would be like 3 and 4 other dudes like right behind them. Yeah, Drake got 13 number ones, I got 12, and then somebody behind me with 11, and then another guy behind me with 10. There would be guys right on his tail. If anybody could do it. Let's just keep it a buck. Like I like to do. You can have your favorites, right? You can disagree, you can agree to disagree. But what you can't disagree on is that's a bad boy. That's a bad boy. Whether you like his music, whether his music's your cup of tea, whether it's not your cup of tea. One thing, if you're being truthful, you got to sit back and say, you know what? He may not be my cup of tea, but damn, that's a bad boy. Gotta respect it. And Drake is not my number 1 rapper of all time. He's not even my number 2, 3, 4, or 5. But when people have an argument or a debate with me and they say, I got Drake 1, and I know that some of the reasons they're going to mention are the reason that I just mentioned, you can't argue it. You can't debate it. You just say, oh, okay, I understand that. I understand why you pick him. He's not mine. But I can understand why you picked him. Have Queen Latifah had the song Unity, but there's no unity in female rap. Every female rapper is out for themselves. Well, every female rapper has always really been out for themselves. But the reason why it's more looked at now is because even though female rappers looked out for themselves then, and they did beef with other female rappers, but it was never on some when Remy and Kim beefed. Remy never said, I better not see none of my peoples talking to that bitch. None of my people better even, I better not fucking see you talking to that bitch. Remy didn't get mad at Fat Joe if Fat Joe took a picture hugged up with Lil' Kim. That's not his beef. Remy didn't get mad if she was cool with MC Lyte and MC Lyte was out there hugged up with Lil Kim. That's the difference between now and then. I lived through it, so I know. The girls back then did not make you pick Kim or Foxy. That's the difference. That's the difference. They didn't make you pick a side. They didn't make you say, oh, you either Kim or you Foxy. And if you messing with Kim, you can't mess with me. Puffy messed with Foxy, and Kim was under him. And he knew they were beefing. Biggie messed with Foxy. Biggie loved Foxy. Kim didn't say, oh, I'm not fucking with you. If you fucking me, I bet I even never see you mention that bitch name. Nah. They didn't do that. That's the difference. Where, yes, they had their beefs, and yes, they were arguing with each other, but they did make a ladies' night record. Queen Latifah's always been for unity. But her unity wasn't really, just black female rappers. Her unity with black women empowerment in general. You didn't have to be a female rapper. But now it's like, if you're not on Nicki's side, the Nicki, Ice Spice, JT side, then you have to be on the Cardi, Megan, Glorilla side, Lotto. And then you can't go and do a record with those girls, or else you're an op. You got to cut all those girls off. You got to sneak diss them. So, yes, it was different in the 90s and 80s. But let's get into it. I got to get into your boy Diddy. Hold on. So, and we're going to put 1 and 2s in the chat. Is Diddy going down for Tupac's, hold on, Tupac's murder? Because word out is that he was mentioned 77 times in court today. 77 times in court today. They're saying he was mentioned. All right? Puff Daddy, a.k.a. Puffy, a.k.a. Diddy, P. Diddy, Dr. Love, whatever. They're saying the brother was mentioned 77 times in court about having something to do with Tupac's death. If you believe that Diddy is going down for Tupac's death, put a 1 in the chat. If you believe that Diddy is not going down for Tupac's death, put a 2 in the chat. Remember, 77 times he was mentioned in court. 77 times. Mr. Smith says no. Lily says no. Marcel says no. Jocelyn says yes. Bobby Rubbin says no. Diana says no. Interesting. So far, we just have Jocelyn. I thought it was going to be way more than that. The way y'all was talking about Diddy, only one person in this chat thinks he's going down. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I could have sworn it would have been the majority of y'all. Because that's what y'all want. That's what y'all want to see, right? I mean, that is what y'all want to see. Be honest. Yeah. That's what y'all want to see. You know, Kennedy says yes. Hmm? So if Diddy if Diddy was smart, right? If Diddy was smart, right? Before he even gets indicted, before he even gets subpoenaed, I'm sending my lawyer to the courtroom. Before they even subpoena him. Because I hear all the things, I hear all the rumblings. You say, you know what? I want to get my client, I want to get my lawyer on it nice and early. Send my lawyer out to Vegas. And I'm going to send my lawyer in the room and say, Your Honor, my name is... Who's the guy that represents Rock Nation? I just make up a name. Whatever the dude's name is that defends Rock Nation. I'm here defending Sean Combs. And everybody's going to gasp like, what? I'm here to defend my client, Sean Combs. Well, counselor, there has not been any charges filed against Sean Combs. I know, but from what I've been hearing, there's going to be shortly. Or he's going to be questioned or brought in, told he has to come to Vegas. He's been subpoenaed or worse, indicted. So to cut to the chase, to cut all the BS and Tommy, Sue, and the dog catcher and the popcorn maker out of the equation, I'm here today. And I just want to ask the court, what evidence do you have on my client? Do you got the check? From what I'm understanding, my client, Sean Puffy Combs, promised a hit, promised an amount of $1 million to Keefe D for the death of Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight. And then I also understand that later on, a former bodyguard who used to work for my client and left a disgruntled employee, I might add, but that's neither here nor there, said that he saw $1 million check, but he doesn't know what it was for. He was told it was for a record label. Then there's another guy on Vlad TV, TK Kirkland, who said he saw $1 million check in the hands of Eric Von Zip, who's no longer with us, I may add. And Your Honor, Keefe D says that Puffy promised him $1 million for the death of Tupac and Suge Knight. Well, Your Honor, I'm here speaking on behalf of my soon-to-be, of the soon-to-be suspect, Sean Puffy Combs. Your Honor, do you guys have this check? No, we do not. Oh, so you don't have the check. May I ask Keefe D to present the check since you was paid $1 million? Well, I don't actually have it. He never gave it to me. You know, Brother Love didn't show no love. He actually said he was going to give it to me, but it never happened. So you didn't even get paid? No, I never actually received the money. But he gave the check to Eric Von Zip. Did Eric Von Zip tell you that Sean Puffy Combs gave him $1 million check? No. He told people it was for a record label. Oh. Do you have any proof that that wasn't the truth? I know he promised me $1 million for the death of Tupac and Suge Knight. And all of a sudden, Eric Von Zip had $1 million. And when after Pac got shot, he called and said, "Was that us?" Basically saying, "Did I do that? Was that me who did that?" Oh, you got a recording of that? Oh no, they weren't. We weren't really recording phone calls in the 90s. Oh, anybody else hear him say that? Yeah, they gone though. They gone. They're gone. There's about 3-4 other people in the room, but they dead. Oh, and you don't have to check. So let me ask you something, Keefe. You said that Sean Puffy Combs put a hit out on Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight for $1 million. And that's why you feel as though that $1 million check that Eric Von Zip had was for you. Is that not correct? Yep, exactly. $1 million he put on their head for their death. Mr. Keefe, may I remind you, Suge Knight ain't dead. So even if my client said those things to you, if Suge Knight ain't dead, why would he send you $1 million if only one of them is dead? The price was $1 million for both. So if Suge Knight ain't dead, why would he send you $1 million? Wouldn't he send you $500,000? Well, he said $1 million. He said $1 million for both people, but only one's dead. So why would he still send you $1 million? I don't know. You gotta ask him that. You'd have to ask Zip. Okay. Well, where's Eric Von Zip? He dead. So we can't ask him. No, you gonna go to his grave or some shit. Excuse me. Excuse my language, Your Honor. Next, we're going to go to his grave and interview him. That's actually very funny. Your Honor, this is the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life. They have no check. They have no recording. They have no video. They never received the money. They have no receipt. They have no written contract. They have no oral contract. If you subpoena my client to come to court and you don't have one piece of evidence other than a criminal's word that he had anything involvement in this murder, if you bring my client to court to Las Vegas, I will sue this department for every dime they have. You cannot bring my client in and you don't have a piece of evidence except what this criminal, who's just trying to protect his ass because he realized he's getting ready to go to jail. So now he has to put it on my client, who happens to be going through the biggest lawsuits in the hip-hop world probably ever. The biggest sexual assault lawsuit ever. So he figures, let's just put it all on Puffy. What's up, Sexy 60? And that's my take on that. Unless they're just, everybody is just in cahoots to say, yeah, let's just blame Diddy. And they're going to get some fake witnesses in there to say, yeah, I heard him say it. If he never receives the money and there is no contract that says he was going to give them $1 million, and you don't have a recording that says him saying he's going to give $1 million, you can't lock that man up. How? How are you going to lock him up? How are you going to prove that that was even ever said? Come on, man. Come on. I know y'all hate Diddy, but come on. Fair is fair. If he did something, you should have the evidence. If he did something, you should have the evidence, right? They say what's done in the dark will always come to the light. Okay. Well, coming to the light ain't just some bum like Keefy D or a has-been like Jaguar Wright, or never will be, excuse me. I'm not going to say a has-been. Or never will be like Jaguar Wright, or has been like some of these other artists that are coming forward saying that Diddy's guilty and this person's guilty and that person's guilty. That's not evidence. That's hearsay. Evidence, and shout out to Bobby Ruffin, hearsay. I don't think Diddy's going down for Tupac's murder. Now, is he going down for some of that other shit? Sex trafficking, they're gonna probably try to get him on that, tax evasion, drug trafficking, imprisonment, or whatever the hell they call it. Maybe they might go down for that. But he ain't going down for the murder of Tupac. Sorry. They're gonna have to find the real killer. and put it out there because a lot of people believe it was LAPD in the end of it. LAPD and Vegas PD. So you got to do some work, Las Vegas Police Department, and find out who really killed our brother Tupac. Stop trying to put it on Diddy. Just because you have nobody else to blame. And he's the easy target right now. Next up, hold on. I believe that's me. Drake. Wrong for banning Not Like Us from Houston. So if you've been living on the rock the last couple of months, you know that Drake and Kendrick Lamar have been in a battle. You know, people who were supporting Not Like Us went out to Drake's hometown and was trying to support the song. Then we saw some West Coast people, you know, saying, "Oh, we remember we had the fight in Canada where Rick Ross and his crew got jumped and beat the F up." Had some people saying, "Oh, that's not fair," and why did they do that to Rick Ross just over a song? Now we have the guy, forgot where he's from. I guess he's from Cali. Goes into Drake's hometown, Drake's area, and they make him move. Now word has come out. I believe that Doug, what's his name, from Houston. I believe he has confirmed or confirmed that Drake had something to do with them shutting down Not Like Us in Houston. Number one, if you think that Drake, if let's just go on devil's advocate and say that Drake did that. Do you think Drake is a sucker for banning Not Like Us in Houston? Put a 1 in the chat if you think Drake is a sucker for doing that. Put a 2 in the chat if you think right as he should. So 1 in the chat for Drake's a sucker for that. Let us hear a song where we want to hear it. Or 2 and say as he should. Marcel says as he should. Let's go. Who else? All I see is Marcel. See, this is why I don't be like to do YouTube, man. Like, there be more y'all in my Instagram live than on my YouTube live. Kennedy says, as he should. Jocelyn says he's a sucker for that. Lori, we're just going to play devil's advocate and say, let's just say it came out that he did do it. Do you think he's a sucker for doing that, or as he should? Lori says as he should. Tox says as he should. There's 21 people in here. I don't see 21 votes. Y'all make sure y'all like, please. Drop a like, drop a thumbs up. The video, whatever's in your way, just move out the way, hit thumbs up, come back in if you have to. So this is what I gotta say about that. This is what I gotta say about that. If you go to another town, right? If you go to another town and you go to a fast food joint at that town and you get into a fight with a known person from that town and you beat them up, right? When you come back to that town the next time, are you expecting to just to walk through that hood with no issues? Or do you feel as though I'll beat him fair and square? Why do I can't come back? Why I can't come back here? I beat him fair and square. Do you really think you're gonna be able to go back to that hood without any problems? Especially if the person's well known in the hood. It's not gonna happen. You were starting lies about the biggest rapper in the world, who happens to be Canadian. Who happens to be Canadian. Do I think Drake can do that in Houston? If he, I think he could, because he, number one, have Houston my second home, and they play Not Like Us all day. Maybe banned at J Prince establishments. Yeah, but they were saying in the club. They're not saying at on the radio or what have you. But certain clubs where they can control the DJ. Of course, they can't control the radio station. But yeah, any establishment that Jay Prince gives a lot of money to, or any establishment that Drake may own, because you know Houston's like his second home. He actually has a home out there. So any place he can control, I say as he should. I'm not going to have a record played out here in my club when this dude is calling Houston's favorite son or second favorite son a pedo and getting away with it. F that. So I have no problem if Drake used his resources in Canada. I have no problem if Drake used his resources in Canada and got that song shut down and taken out the club. No problem whatsoever. So if he got um If he's got connections with Jay Prince or with Houston or whatever, where he can limit the times or limit the places that song is played, then he should do it. And if Kendrick don't like it, he can go to his connections in Cali and say, we're not playing any Drake records. We're not going to play any Drake records in this club. And the DJ's going to say, well, damn, what are we going to play? If we're not playing any Drake, it's going to be hard to play some rap music. If we're not playing any Drake at all. Right? So Kendrick can just turn around and do it in his city. But will his city, who Drake used to live in California, and Drake brings a ton of money to the state of California when he was living there, are these big venues that sell out when Drake's there, are they going to say, I'm standing behind Kendrick Lamar? Drake, you can't perform in LA anymore. You really think they're going to get behind somebody who only drops once every 5 years? And until he had this record dissing Drake, never gave a damn about putting on other young rappers from Cali, never gave a damn about nobody doing no collaborations with him, never gave a damn about giving his people cameos and videos, music videos, and with some of the bigger artists in the. He never cared about those things before. So why care now? I truly believe that California would tell Kendrick to kick rocks if he said, I don't want Drake performing here anymore. So if Kendrick is strong in Cali, prove it. Get your Cali people together, people that are running the clubs out there, and say, it's just Big Me. Forget the big three. Don't play no Drake in here. I don't want to hear no Drake and no Cali clubs. Let's see how that worked out for you. But yeah, and Kasim, Kazim, I agree. However, I do not think it needs to be about Kendrick. I do not think he needs to answer Kendrick. If he wants to throw a shot, whatever. If he wants to throw a subliminal shot, cool. As long as the song is dope and he's back to Drake making hits, people are gonna fuck with it. They ain't gonna have no choice. As far as the beef goes, leave the beef alone. Leave the beef alone. Right, because Kendrick ain't putting out no new music. See? And this is where Drake will win the war. Because Kendrick ain't putting out no new music. Till he puts his album out, then once he does, he's gone for 5 years. At least. At least. Right, it went to number 2 this week, and it's going to drop even further by next week because we got a lot of releases coming out Friday. Got a lot of releases dropping on Friday. So, I don't believe that this song is going to be number 1. It'll still be in the top 10, but the hype is dying down because what's happening is Drake is not giving it any energy. And you see what happens when Drake goes silent? You see what happens when Drake goes silent? And as long as he don't let nothing happen to him, these other guys can't say anything. Just like Rick Ross. He was quiet. And then Drake had a flooding in his house. And then Rick Ross says, "Here, this is the only way I'm going to be able to get something more from the white boy. Because I couldn't even perform in Canada. And he been laying low. So we don't know what's going on. But he had a flood in his house. So I'm going to troll him on that. I'm going to say, ha ha, white boy, your house is flooded. I'm going to get him on that." Metro booming is Metro flopping. They can't sell enough tickets on tour. Then you got other guys coming to Canada and their shows getting canceled. Hey, you got to be prepared. They not like us. You doing the shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop all over the stage, mocking the hottest rapper of this generation, the most profitable rapper of this generation. You're sitting up on stage. Sure, you signed a contract to perform in Canada. But now you're doing the La Cucaracha, right? You're doing the La Cucaracha on stage, dancing to They Not Like Us, certified lover boy, certified pedophile. You saying it loud too. You really think that, man? That you just said certified pedophile. You really think he's gonna let you perform on his stage so you can make money off his city, who you're making fun of right now? It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So, Drake, as you should, brother, control your narrative. Whatever narrative you can control it. Because this whole fallout over Drake and everybody saying they don't like Drake no more and Drake not like us, all this was built off of a narrative. It wasn't built off of proof. Yep, and that's why no ASAP, nobody. Yep, and that's why LeBron James has been dismissed. LeBron James has been dismissed by Drizzy Drake. See, you want to try to be a show off and you want to try to get that minute of clout. But you got to remember, the person that you trying to get that clout off of, they gonna see it. They gonna see it. They gonna say, "Oh man, I thought that was my man. He's out there chasing clout." Wow. Anyway, was there anything else that's popping today? Will JT, and this is the final thing, all right? Does anyone believe will JT and Cardi B reconcile? Make amends. We'll put that. Since the Barbs feel as though JT might be kicked out the whip, there's a lot of speculation that watch JT now go back to Cardi B. Well, Marla, I don't know, right? But her fan base does know, right? Have what's your thoughts on Katy Perry? I'll give you that, Darius. But doesn't her fan base know her better than anybody? Well, her fan base is the one who started the rumor. Right? So I'm just taking her fan base's word for it. Because everybody knows Nicki's fan base knows more about Nicki than Nicki knows about Nicki. And the Barbs would never do anything to hurt Nicki. So that's why I'm taking that cue, Marla. I personally, I know for a fact that Nicki Minaj just brought JT on stage, what, 2 months ago? I think it was like 2 months ago. So what could have happened between 2 months ago and now that all of a sudden she don't want to mess with her no more? But the fans told me Nicki held a station head, and I don't watch her station heads because she just gets a little too weird for me on a station head. So, but I'm going to take her fans' word for it. When it comes to Nicki Minaj, let me take a look at some of the tweets, right? Y'all can see that, right? Here's a tweet. I'm not going to really focus too much on this because this is obviously not a barb. Nicki's sitting back, letting the barbs rip JT to shreds. And she's encouraging it too. I don't know how she's doing that, but whatever. She loves when this happens to other rap girls and throwing subs to push barbs to attack more girls. So mean. Like, girl, you just had JT. I just said that. I just said that. Like, girl, you just had JT at your show. You are so unstable. I just said that. I didn't say the unstable part, but I said she just had JT at her show not too long ago. So why would she be talking about JT? But the more and more I ask that question, right, I don't get any answer to it. Now let me try to find a barb. Let me try to find a barb. Let's see. Let's try to find a real barb. During a live last night, well, this isn't a barb either, but it is. Oh, that was 2022. We don't talk about that. Somebody, this is me. This is how I was. Why the timeline saying Nicki don't like JT? I'm lost. I'm lost too, my friend. I'm lost too. All it took is JT releasing a mixtape for the Barbs to realize Nicki is unhinged, jealous, bitter. I'm not going to read that. I want to see a Barb's perspective. Let's do it on latest. I want to show you guys what the Barbs were saying. Busy turning on her for some damn JT with her slow rapping ass. Well, trust me, I would have to go back a couple of days, but y'all know what they were being said. Y'all know what they were saying. Y'all know what they were saying. But I do remember her naming JT Queen of Rap. A lot of people saying she was online. She made 8 or 9 posts, and she never even reposted JT's album or even mentioned JT's album. Now, when she's allowed to call herself the princess, you have to at least tweet her album, repost her album. This person just said Nicki Minaj praised in here. Okay, they're not talking about it. Again, you want Nicki to do more promo. That label costs it's Nicki Minaj. JT said she didn't need the bobs. Great. So why should Nicki promote her? So, judging from what Nicki said, I'm trying to remember what exactly did she say on that station head? So but when you go from unliking me to liking me, y'all don't think that's a little strange? But when you go from unliking me to loving me. Y'all don't think that's a little strange? Well, well, well. What do we have here? I can't get into it with the baby voice and the, Nicki's funny as hell, but I can't get into the baby voice stuff. It's not funny to me. But she basically was sending out her cryptic messages like she does so well. What's up, Ashanti? So I don't really know whether it's true or not, but I'm just going on with the Barbs. The Barbs have more of a pulse on it. Something like this, I'm not really going to be keeping up with. Whether she's beefing with JT, because those girls are irrelevant to me. She's beefing with Bia. That's not going to wet my whistle. Nicki Minaj is beefing with JT. That don't wet my whistle. You want to tell me Nicki Minaj beefing with Doja Cat? She's beefing with Cardi B. Even Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj beef is starting to get on my nerves. If you're gonna tell me, yeah, she was beefing with Cardi B, they went at it, or she's beefing with Lauryn Hill or something like that. But beefing with JT from the City Girls, I'll read about it in the morning. Right? I'll be glad when Diddy sue all these YouTube bloggers real soon. Because these people get on my nerves. Milton, I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you. But I'm gonna take me a nap. I gotta work on these videos. Drop these videos tonight. Drop a members only, so I'll be 4 videos. Y'all make sure y'all go to the channel, support all the videos we got going on, all the shows we got going on. Oh my God, Cash App's having Hollywood for y'all who want to donate and help the channel. I appreciate to all y'all that's donated, man. Um, it definitely does not go unlooked at or unchecked or unnoticed. So, me too, Brenda. I'll be glad when all this shit is over. We just get back to the music. So I'm going to bid you all a farewell. As always, I have to say thank you, and thank you again. I love you guys. Like, you guys have been amazing to me, and you stick by me. I know I can always count on my core people coming to the live, right? So I just ask y'all to take care of yourselves. Blessings up to y'all. Be safe out there when you leave the house, and pray every time you wake up in the morning, because it's a blessing. Peace.